everyone. My name is Faris Muhammad, not Tahtamooni, Muhammad Tahtamooni. I'm an Associate Director in Lead Ventures, the Office of His Highness Sheikh Sultan bin Abdullah Qasimi. I would like to welcome my dear friends, colleagues, VIPs, and delegates, starting with Mr. Mohammed Al-Banna, CEO and Managing Director of Lead Ventures. His Highness, of course, who unfortunately is not here with us today, but was here yesterday. CEO of Trescon, Mr. Mohammed Salim, our delegates and VIPs, senior advisors presented by my good colleague, Mr. Anthony Ritosa, and fellow speakers and panelists, of course. My talk today is not going to be a very formal one. I wanted it to be a little bit of an interactive session, and so I've hoped to see everyone inside. And my interactive session would actually go about asking a few questions, and I would love everyone to interact very freely. I'm no expert in blockchain, by the way, so don't get me with the technical stuff. But I wanted to understand a little bit more of how the audience was digesting the information that was shared yesterday through the good panels that happened. If you were not here yesterday, I believe you missed very, very, very interesting and informative panels. But I hope you'll see more of them today as well. What I've noticed yesterday is the panels were very interactive on their own, but not very interactive with the audience. And so I've wanted to have this session with the audience to understand more of what the audience wants to hear, rather than just sitting and hearing whatever is being said. And that obviously will give a lot more information to your colleagues and your panelists and the speakers to deliver the same information that you wish to be delivered, obviously. So maybe I'll start with two questions that I have in mind, and I'd love for everyone to interact. The first of which, I wanted to understand from everyone around you, maybe we'll take a few answers, of course. What you are expecting to hear from your panelists or your speakers today in the second day of the third of its edition, the World Blockchain Summit? So I'd love to hear your thoughts, please.
Check.
We have the mic? You're too lazy to answer, guys? Is it still the morning? None? Okay. Yeah, please.
I think one of the areas that I'd like to hear covered is what blockchain can do to help the environment. I think that it was touched on in the talk that we just heard, but it would be good to hear about what blockchain is doing for good.
Wonderful, thank you. Anyone else? Please.
Good morning. I'd like to hear a little bit more about the security behind blockchain. In the early days, we heard a lot about various exchanges being hacked into, millions, billions of dollars being escaped with, and what makes it so impenetrable now than it was before?
Okay.
Faris, if I could just add there. So the first question, we do have a panel after lunch, blockchain for social good. And Ms. Linda here will be moderating that panel. So, and the second question you asked, we do have a panel for, blockchain for enterprise. So we're definitely going to be covering the security angle that enterprises should look at and what's happening. So just wanted to add.
Wonderful.
Any other questions?
First, thank you that you really gave us a chance to ask a lot of questions just by asking us a simple question.
Please.
Thank you. The question that what I would like to hear, in addition, of course, to applications that requires blockchain, how blockchain and artificial intelligence would work together to support one another. And the other question, or what I would like to hear, what does it take to implement blockchain in existing systems?
Thank you, Dr. Issa. Wonderful. I actually had a similar comment to add from yesterday's panels. I noticed that the panelists or the speakers focused a lot on governance and regulations and how to look from that aspect on the blockchain and what people do think of blockchain versus what it actually is, and how is it kind of related to cryptocurrency, although they're not very much related. But I've also wanted to hear a lot more about the integration between blockchain and any other technology, have it been AI, machine learning, data analytics, name it. I think a lot of the audience are more hungry to hear such information. Do we have anything else to add?
Any other questions?
Okay,
I think we have one here.
please.
Thank you. I'd like to hear about what blockchain is doing for existing industries. When we talk about blockchain as a new technology, we talk about a lot of new upcoming industries, new technology, new industries that don't exist yet, but I'd like to know what blockchain's doing for existing infrastructures.
Okay, wonderful. I think you should be speaking to Mr. I hope he's here today. I think he was on the panel yesterday from Dubai Customs. He mentioned a few integrations between the blockchain where they leverage the technology for logistical reasons in Dubai Customs, of course, with millions and millions of containers. That, of course, is something that would add a lot of value. I would love to introduce him to you as well after the speaking. Okay, if you don't have any other points to add, I have another question, which I actually asked yesterday to my fellow colleagues who are in the panel. And that is a question that I usually ask to blockchain experts, and I thought I'd share it with the audience as well. I asked, how would you describe blockchain technology in one sentence to a 10 or 15 years old kid in a very simplistic way? And the answers were usually very interesting, to be honest. One of my colleagues said it's simply working together, putting the blocks in one chain, that's working together. One of them also said that he has told his son to stop depending on his sister to get things done. So it's kind of cutting the person in the middle, right? Cutting intermediaries and having things done very transparently, very openly through direct channels. I would love to hear if any of you are experts in the field and would love to give their initial understanding at least, or what do they think of the blockchain? Mr. Salim. Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Salim Hassan, for those who don't know me. This particular question you've asked, I actually attempted to answer it 3 years ago at one of the first meetings of the Dubai Global Blockchain Council. There were two gentlemen who came up for the first time, and they were totally new to the term blockchain. And we were on the 42nd floor of the Emirates Towers, this very building. And I asked them to look out of the window. I'm sorry, this is a long way of going around it, but I want to answer your question. So this is exactly what I said to them. So I said, look out, and what do you see? They said, the Sheikh Zayed Road. So I said, what is the Sheikh Zayed Road? They said, it goes from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. So I said, if I said it was a protocol that displaced you from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, would that make sense? He said, yes. So a protocol that displaces you from point A to point B. So he got it. So I said, what is email? I said, that's also a protocol that allows you to transfer information from point A to point B. So he got that too. Then I said, what is blockchain? I said, that too is a protocol which allows you to transfer value from point A to point B. And that's how he got it. So I wanted to share that with the audience. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Rohit, we have someone else in the back as well over there.
Yeah, the answer in one line is the internet which we can trust and rely upon. This is the one-line answer. But the background to it, in telecommunication in general, they built a system assuming that the nodes trust one another, and they implemented signaling system, and it was called signaling system number 7. And then after that, they realized that really it's going not to be that they are all trustable. And the internet, the same thing. They built it for the military and the universities of the US that they trust one another. And it was fully implemented on that assumption. and then it was implemented in a different environment. So now with blockchain, we try to make the internet trustable and reliable. Of course, plus other things, but these are the most important things.
Thank you, Teresa. I think that answer will open a lot of debates, but yeah. I think we had someone in the back, right?
Right, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I think if we can extend your question to 35 years old as well, because I have difficulties to understand that as well.
Okay.
So my name is Gil. I work with service design, user experience design. So when I hear these topics about blockchain, so I think I understand machine learning, I understand AI, and how to apply that in a way. So my role usually is to run the workshops and understand how we can actually solve a problem, understand the problem, put that in a nice shape, and then try to solve the problem. But when it comes down to blockchain, I think thinking about a solution on how you can actually solve a problem using blockchain, I think there is a lot of homework to be done, especially from my side, especially for the peers that I know on service design and user experience design. Because I feel some of the solutions that we have in the market sometimes is just overused. So yes, we have blockchain, but what are we actually fixing a problem specifically by using blockchain? So that's where I think this is something that I really wanted to understand better.
Wonderful, thank you very much. I think it's very important to share more with the audience than just, let them hear us out. And I, just like you, have a lot of misunderstanding sometimes of blockchain because of how people deliver the message to me. But I love to hear more and more and more. And that's why I always ask such questions. I think stories like the one Mr. Salim said makes you understand it in a much simplistic way, right? Rather than just going to the complexity of it or the technicalities of it, which most of us might not be aware of or knowledgeable about. If there is any more part of the audience I want, please.
Hi, morning. My name is Kiran. As far as I understand, it's basically in international business. You allow strangers to exchange value, trusting the system without actually trusting the behaviors of the strangers. So the system takes care of the trust, even though the other nodes are strangers to the person. So you don't have to worry about any situation where there is a change in behavior or any change in instincts or situations. So the trustworthy network ensures that it allows all strangers to do business rather than using somebody or finding out or doing a KYC between the parties. That's my take on it.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're getting more hyped up now. That's good.
I would simply explain it as a never-ending game of dominoes that anybody can play.
Okay. I think any 10 years old will understand that very clearly, right? Please.
I think it's a group text message that gives us all the right of free speech.
That's nice. That's a nice example. Okay. Anyone else? Here we go.
I think it's a pocket money with which kids can play and they can double it as well.
Okay. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think there are completely right or completely wrong answers, but your ideas just flourish and they come up, and obviously it's down to the panelists and the speakers today to validate the information that you have, right? They'll either prove to you that your ideas are 100% correct or up to a certain point correct or not, of course. So it's very nice to hear a lot of thoughts. It's very nice to hear a lot of that. I think one of the Prime Minister or the Minister of India who was here yesterday said to him, understanding blockchain is saying each one of us over here is a block, sitting all together makes us a chain, and that's, he said technically the room is a blockchain to me, right? That's how we understood it. And obviously, the more the event and the summit went on with the panels, the more he understood it a little bit more. But thank you very much for sharing your information. I'd like to spend the last few minutes giving you an introduction, a more deeper introduction into Lead Ventures, the Office of His Highness, and then we'll leave it, of course, for the schedule to continue. So Lead Ventures, the Office of His Highness Sheikh Sultan bin Abdullah bin Sultan al-Qasimi, was integrated to take forward and mandated to take forward His Highness's initiative. So His Highness and our CEO had looked at the market a long time ago, and they've seen a big gap in the market between specifically companies that are either newly established in the market or companies that are coming from global markets to the UAE. And that gap was usually the knowledge of the market and how to do business in the market in the right way. Usually our region is characterized by specific factors that are not applicable to other parts of the world. And moving into this part of the world without that knowledge would cause your business to slow down massively. And so His Highness has created a platform of services that our partners only get the benefit from to penetrate the market in the most efficient and effective way. We see that it's a waste of time for someone to come to the market and say, I still don't know what to do with this, or I still don't know where to go to get this approved, or I still don't know who to speak to, or I still don't know what kind of entity exists, or the initiatives of the market. So we said we'll put all of this under one roof, we'll incubate our partners, we'll teach them, grow them, and then put them in the market with the biggest amount of knowledge and the most experienced way of doing business in the market. That's how we see people grow. His Highness has expanded his company in multiple parts of the world, and that includes MENA region and outside of the MENA region. Especially in outside of the MENA region, we've seen that when we don't speak the language, it causes a barrier for us. I couldn't go do business in China when I don't speak Chinese. I'd rather have someone who speaks the language, who understands the market very well, to actually hold me by the hand and take me forward. And so in order for us to do that, to take our companies forward, our strategic partners, His Highness has mandated that every quarter of our fiscal year, we would pre-select very, very chosen specific companies that are very innovative and tech-based, that have something very unique to add to the market, and add to them a strategic value through a platform that supports them with 5 different pillars. And these are the pillars that we've seen are most important to any company that is either newly established in the market or coming from a global market to the UAE. The pillars start from licensing them and getting them approved. Of course, regulation is a very important aspect of the business. And if you don't regulate yourself the right way, you're kind of lost, or you kind of have never started even, technically. So we've put a pillar, a whole team by itself that takes care of their licensing and their approval system and their certification so that they are completely compliant with the UAE regulations and laws. The second team takes care of incubating them in our own offices, because we don't want our partners to go expand in the market, go aggressively, spend a lot of money in recruitment and in opening office and furnishing and taking nice offices without the need of actually doing so until the business generates its own revenue or its ROIs on the market. The third pillar of its kind is, which is to me is the most important, of course, is the market advisory pillar. And that is a whole team by itself in Dubai Design District that sits together with our partners, each and every one of them, digs deep into the market and does a proper selective market research. Now, I'm not talking about a booklet of 500 pages of numbers. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a market research that is more specific to their industry and relevant to their product, specifically to their product and or their service, whatever they're trying to sell. So it technically tells them at the end of the day, Mr. Faris, you have company X and you're trying to sell Y in this market. This market does not accept the way you're selling it. Please sell it in alternative ways such as 1, 2, and 3. If you think you're going to sell this to big organizations like Emirates Airlines or any of the governments, you're wrong, because they're already working with a competitor of yours, for example, or they've already employed someone who can do this for them. They're not currently interested. So you could be wasting your time and your efforts and your energy to go and pitch to the wrong target client. Perhaps you should go and pitch to client Y and Z, for example. And eventually, of course, once they are very knowledgeable about the market, and we teach them the cultural aspect of doing business in the UAE, after that, and only then, we take them by the hand and we go out there into the market, whether it's with the public or the private sector, so that we pitch their products that are already proven with a good track record, financially backed, and have a reference and history in doing such projects with either government entities or non-government entities. That's when we take them, and that's where their success rate increases incredibly in the market. And we've seen that grow massively in the market. If it takes you a couple of years to establish yourself well in the market and have a good track record, well, we're talking about cutting that time for you at least in half, at least. Eventually, of course, one of the most strong pillars that we have on board is our members of the Board of Advisors, such as Mr. Anthony Tosa as well over here. Our Board of Advisors are individuals that are either in the public sector currently or the private sector holding higher positions. And those are people who have been in the market for a long time, understands the market in different aspects. And we have intentionally chosen our senior advisors to be from different diversified industries because we're not specific to any industry. We don't just partner with tech-based companies. We don't just partner with oil and gas companies. We partner with anyone who has a need and needs a push in the market, but of course has something very unique to add to the market. Because if you don't have anything unique to add to the market, then you're just selling like anyone else, and the competition is gonna smash you down technically. Our senior advisors have added a lot of strategic value to our partners and to His Highness, of course, in selecting our partners in the local market based on their current knowledge and value that they've already added to the market. That, of course, reflects back to us and puts us in the forefront with our partners to do the right thing in the right way at the right time. I'd love to have, within a minute, any questions if you have any. And if you don't, then that's it for me. Okay, thank you very much.